What is up, everyone? Welcome to the very first installment of the Academic Redshirt Podcast. We are your three hosts, three of your favorite Arkansas Twitter personalities. I am Luke, and we got Aiden. What's up, Aiden?
What's going on, guys? A little something about me. I played hockey at the University of Arkansas for 5 years. Yeah, I was there for 5 years. I was a criminology major with a 2.6 GPA. Really bad at school, very mediocre at hockey. Current professional hockey free agent. Not very good. We'll see where it gets me. A great tweeter, though. So go ahead and shoot the pod a follow. Shoot me a follow, and I will send it down to banned on Twitter right now.
Talking about someone who's been banned on Twitter a few times. Right down here, we got our man north of the border, Gabs. What's going on? What's going on up in Quebec?
Yeah, not much going to say here because I don't want Jack tracking where I am and my new accounts and whatnot. So I'm going to plead the fifth and not say anything else about me.
All right.
He is Uncle Gabs now, though. I think that the
that's right.
And get a fucking shout.
Round of applause for Gabs. He is a brand new uncle of a beautiful young baby boy.
Yeah. I won the race of not being the first parent out of me and my sister. Very, very good. Very happy about that. Yep.
Can we just go ahead? I'm going to give the Red Shirt, the Academic Redshirt Podcast a little shout out. I think that, and I love Pardon My Take, a big stoolie across the board, award-winning listener. I love Chicklets too, but I didn't see Chicklets have 1,000 subs on YouTube before an episode.
That's true.
I didn't see any of them.
I mean, what podcast really starts out there? I don't know any other podcast. Chicklets, Pardon My Take, the No Laying Up guys. I don't know if any of those podcasts, when they were their very first episode, think of that historic moment, first episode, or they didn't have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube already like we did.
No, they really didn't.
This Academic Redshirt Podcast, you're listening for the first time. This is going to be the three of us talking about college football, Arkansas Razorback football, a little bit more specifically and in detail, but college football in general. And then if the NFL season kicks off, NHL, NBA, next MLB season, or the postseason coming up for that matter. I'm sure we'll get into that. But the main thing
is minor league hockey team is dumb enough to employ me.
Then we're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to need some day in the life content, some MTV Cribs, day in the life, and like old NHL 36 style content. If you guys remember
apartment
that.
I live in with 8 guys.
Your apartment in Huntsville, Alabama, or somewhere.
Love Huntsville. It's a great city. I'd be happy to be there.
Is it though?
The Rocket City. I think they're big for like NASA or something like that.
That's Houston, actually.
It's not Houston, but
there's big for Harvey too. But we don't talk about that.
Okay. All right. I know there's something space related in Huntsville, Alabama. All right, let's get into it before it gets too controversial. Right. So it is week 0 of the college football season. The week 0 phenomenon has been going on for a little bit now, where we have games before Labor Day weekend, the traditional college football kickoff. Remember a few years ago, we had Florida and Miami play the worst college football game of all time down in Orlando. That was when I think Felipe Franks was introduced to our lives before he was an Arkansas Razorback. Actually put on like a horrible game, as if I recall, watching this at a bar in Dallas. Put on a horrible game.
Was it Skellig?
It wasn't a Skellig. It was Christie's. It was at the old Christie's location, if you know where that is, uptown. But
I've been to many a bar.
Like 2 good throws. Had a horrible game, but like made like the throw and it mattered. It was more so Miami really sucked that year. Miami, that's a whole other story in college football we'll get into at some point down the road. But that being said, it is week 0, the weekend before the traditional kickoff weekend, Labor Day weekend, when it's week 1. We'll get into week 1 next weekend. That's when all the college football playoff contenders play. We can get into the Heisman picks, who thinks will make the playoffs, who thinks will win each conference, so on and so on. Now, week 0 is a little interesting this year. Usually when there's a week 0, there's one big East Coast primetime game ESPN goes to, does the whole college game day, dog and pony show. This year we got 5 games. The first game we're going to get into is a Big Ten game going down Champaign, Illinois. We got the Nebraska Cornhuskers against the Illinois Fighting Illini this Saturday, 12 p.m. Central from Champaign, Illinois. Nebraska opens as a touchdown favorite. They are a 7-point road favorite at Illinois, and the over-under is 54.5. Again, Nebraska opens as a 7-point favorite, and the over-under is 54.5. Nebraska and Illinois last year were both Big Ten West cellar dwellers. That's nothing new for Illinois, but it's the first year of a guy who's near and dear to our heart. Brett Bielema is back.
Big Bird.
Football.
Big Bird's back, baby.
Big Bird.
Yes, sir.
Took Wisconsin to 3 straight Rose Bowls, I believe, before bolting to take the job for the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Big Ten guy.
He's a Big Ten guy. Had two, I would say 2 good seasons at Arkansas, 2014, 2015. And it was just out of his depth. Oh, that's a little unfair. Everyone caught up to what he was doing in the SEC. Not like he was doing anything.
It just didn't work.
It just didn't work. The writing was on the wall. And so what did Arkansas do? They canned him for this guy named Chad Morris, who we're not going to get into that much.
We're not going to talk about that.
I don't know what that is. This Saturday for sports, I would argue is probably, I mean, if I was making a top 10 or a Mount Rushmore of Saturdays for sports, I think that this is up there. Because we got the Little League World Series that I have fallen in love with. The Little League World Series is fantastic content. I like nothing more than watching these kids cry.
Kids? Okay.
I don't know if I agree with that, man.
I love watching these kids cry because I knew if this was 10 years ago and that was little Aiden throwing his 45-mile-an-hour fastball, if I cried on national television, old Fred would have beaten my ass. That's not allowed.
How do you feel about the kids? Like the pitcher gives up like a 400-shot moonshot, and as the kid who hit the shot gives a high five going down the third baseline to home plate.
Why is that even okay? I know that kid's dad. Hold on. I know that kids. They are just kids, and you have to remember that they're there for a good time. All of them are going to get a Sunday after the game, so they don't really give a shit. But that kid's dad is sitting in the stands in Oakley's fuming. I know that kid's dad is just wearing mirrored Oakley's, so mad that his kid is just dapping up the guy that took him deep. And I'm not talking like barely over the wall. That kid is taking him 400 feet. And he's just, oh yeah, nice hit, man. Are you kidding me? Like our generation would be. Are you like? I distinctly remember hockey games. I remember hockey games with my dad where he would just like, we'd get in the car and he'd be like, I didn't know that I raised a pussy. And we'd sit there in silence for an hour driving home. And this kid is dapping up guys.
I mean, like Gab said, like, I get they are kids after all, but that's like, it's like, you gotta be like a competitor, man. Like, I don't know. I would never do that. If I was pitching, I would be so pissed I would do that, you know?
I think you care. And then ESPN is just slobbering over the sportsmanship. We just lost our ESPN gig, by the way. But they're just slobbering over the sportsmanship, having an absolute blast. Not a chance in my book is that allowed.
Well, I watch, like, I work from home, so I get ESPN on the background every day. And I get they're like the best 12-year-olds in the country who play baseball, but it's like I don't want to watch 12-year-olds play baseball on ESPN. Like, please get off baseball. I'd rather watch.
No, I do.
Hours of first take.
Man. I think there was a fight in Canada USA women's hockey today. There was a full-out brawl.
There was.
I think I would have liked to see that on.
I gotta watch that.
They're
playing the
TSN. So
is it the women's world championship going on? Okay.
How about that kid with the exact same mechanics as Chris Sale for South Dakota?
That was pretty cool.
Unbelievable! It's the best Little League World Series moment I've ever seen. Like, come on.
Was that the kid who threw the no-hitter?
Yeah, no, and he was super awkward in the interview. It's like if that was me, I'd walk up and be like, "Yeah, those kids fucking suck." I'm mad it wasn't a perfect game. It's because they're fucking garbage.
To get back into it, we can give our Bielema thoughts because the three of us do have a lot of opinions on Bielema. But on the other side of the coin, Nebraska's coming in. Nebraska Cornhusker football, they are the fallen giant. They have not been the same since they fired Frank Solich after either an 8-4 or 9-3 record. A couple years after they played the national championship against the 0-1 Canes in the Rose Bowl. No shame in losing that team, one of the greatest college football teams of all time. But they haven't been the same since. Scott Frost comes in before the 2018 season. If you remember, Scott Frost was the head coach of the 2017 national champions.
National champs.
UCF Knights, whatever you want to say about that. He's a golden boy. Scott Frost was quarterback of the last Nebraska teams that won national titles in the 90s. Everyone in Nebraska loved him when he came in, and it's really been more the same. They've been average at best, and average is a really nice way of putting it because last year Nebraska went 3-5 in the Big Ten, only played, 8 games. That was good enough for 5th in the Big Ten West. They really haven't done much in the Big Ten since they joined outside of a couple conference championship games appearances. So you have Scott Frost, who's very much on the hot seat coming into his 3rd season with Nebraska. I mean, if they don't make a bowl game for where they've been. If they don't make a bowl game, he's gone.
I smell a fullback. I
And
hate Nebraska.
then you got
What a
Bielema.
boring brand of football.
And then you got Bielema making his debut coaching the Fighting Illini of Illinois. So,
What was his name that was there last year?
of
the
Illinois?
Bears guy, Lovey. It was
Lovey.
Lovey.
Yeah, Lovey was
Lovey.
there. And Lovey
I
is
can't
like,
believe Lovey didn't do well.
dude,
I mean,
it's
Lovey shit kicked Nebraska. I think it was like 41-23, something like that.
last year. Yeah. But the thing about Lovey is like, I mean, I'm a Bears fan. I love Lovey, but you just don't have no pun intended there. I don't know. But Illinois football, like, what has Illinois football ever done outside of 2008? They go to the Rose Bowl with Juice Williams and get absolutely mauled by Mark Sanchez, I think, in USC. But it's like they just don't have they're just not a football school. They're a basketball school. They have good teams every once in a while in baseball. But it's Lovey. It's just so interesting. Lovey's such a great guy. When they canned Lovey last year after 5 seasons, I think the AD for Illinois or someone high up at University of Illinois basically came out and said, like, we love Lovey Smith. He is the greatest guy in the world. Like, but we just could not get results with him. They basically were like kissing his ass out on the way out the door. It's just they couldn't get results. I think they went to a couple bowl games. That's
Not
it.
the same game.
Lovey with a beard was awesome, though. If you guys would have won that Super Bowl, Bears guy, you guys would have won that Super Bowl if Lovey had a beard.
Oh, he'd be like, that whole team would be like this generation's 85 Bears.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Rex Grossman was still Rex Grossman.
Yeah. Hey, he was an MVP for like the first half of the 06 season. Then their defense came the rest of the way. But anyway, we got a Big Ten game to kick off the season. Nebraska, like I said earlier, comes in as a 7-point road favorite. The over-under is 54.5.
I haven't done a deep dive into Illinois' schedule, but I think that Big Bert is going to just absolutely run with the whole fullback, halfback runs in the Big Ten again. And I think they're going to be a very formidable team. I'm not saying good. I think they're going to be formidable. They will win at least 4 games.
We'll go 4-8. Yeah,
I can see them going 4-8. Like just because you know that Bert's going to pull his bullshit. And here's what the big thing is if Bert gets progressively more fat, like he did at Arkansas, the years that he was acceptable at Arkansas, it's like somebody stuck a bike pump in his belly, and after every fat shame, but it's like somebody stuck a bike pump and went
Jesus.
After every win, and he'd get progressively more fat. And it came to a point where it was unacceptable in the SEC.
I could see Bielema's tenure at Illinois being pretty similar to what it was at Arkansas. They start off like 4-8. Let's say they go 4-8 this year.
I think
2021.
I think it repeats Wisconsin.
Bert started 3-9.
Repeats Wisconsin. He took Wisconsin to 3 straight Rose Bowls.
I know.
Okay,
I think he does it. I don't think it's this year.
Arkansas.
I don't think it's this year or next year. But I think he's got it because he just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's like one of the lower level assistants.
Okay, it doesn't matter. He just won a Super Bowl.
Well, that's because he wasn't getting paid because he wanted his check from Arkansas.
Right. I could see them going 4-8 this year, and then they incrementally get better. Maybe like 5-7, 6-6 next year, and then like maybe in 3-4 years they'll have 9 wins. They'll be ranked in the top 25 at some point at multiple points in the season in like 2024.
Yeah.
I mean,
everyone will get hype on him, and then they
got a senior quarterback.
He's good.
Junior,
he's good for a solid like 21 every year. Like he'll finish when he gets into the swing of things. He'll be finishing like ranked 20, anywhere from 19 to
25
every
19
year.
to 25. He's good for like the lower fifth, like the bottom fifth of the top.
Yeah, they'll never be in contention for anything relevant, but like they will find their way to the Outback Bowl, and they'll love it. And it'll be big for Illinois.
Maybe pushing it for Illinois. I could see Illinois in the
not this year, like maybe in like
Illinois will be in the they'll be in like the Red Box Bowl, the bowl game they played at the 49ers.
Oh
Stadium.
no, come on, that's terrible. What a terrible
their ceiling
game. I watched
is
Michigan
the
State.
Outback Bowl.
That game
Their
was
ceiling,
awful.
yes, their ceiling is the Outback Bowl. Unless they pull like
Capital One Bowl though. Capital One, maybe.
Not a chance.
Maybe.
Not a chance.
Capital One Bowl,
Could Big Bert run to the Capital One Bowl?
No, Capital One's always going to take like a more like a more popular Big Ten school that
They're going to take like
They're going
either
for
the
the
runner-up to the Big Ten or like the third best team in the Big Ten if like the top two teams are playing in.
What's the
Here's
line on that game? Is it 7?
Yeah, it's
Nebraska is a
Nebraska.
7-point road favorite.
yeah,
Oh my
they're
God.
Illinois plus 210.
Dear viewer, if you ever listen to anything that I say throughout the entire history of this podcast, hammer Illinois 7. Hammer it. Not a chance.
The
Not
line
a
is going to move
chance
to
they
6.5
don't cover.
or 6 by kickoff. So you
Not a
definitely
chance they don't
take the
cover.
spread, take 7.
Not
Yeah.
a chance.
May as well take. I like Illinois plus a 7. I like Illinois to win straight up.
Yeah,
I like Illinois to win straight up too. I don't
Yeah,
think
'cause they're
Nebraska's
playing at
anything. After that overall uniform debacle
That's
that I'm going
fake.
to buy,
That was debunked.
Was
Don't
it?
worry.
Was
that
it
was debunked. Yeah, they're not wearing that.
I would buy it because it
Yeah, but
looked,
75%
silly.
of America doesn't
It
know
looked like
that.
a silly thing I would wear to bars, and I think I liked it. But it was, after that, 7 points, 100%. Take Illinois.
No,
Let's go over 54 and a half. Over under 54 and a half.
Under.
Yeah, under.
Under.
Last year went over, but like with Bert coaching right now, it's completely going to change, especially early in the
This
year.
is his first year. I could see them winning. Like that's why I would take
Yeah.
plus 7 for
Illinois is going to win
straight
20
up.
to 6.
But
But
especially
take
like
the under.
yeah,
Illinois will win.
he's not going to go out of his way to like start passing the ball early on in the game. He's going to just establish the run
Right.
and keep it low scoring.
Illinois
thought-
will win 20 to 6.
I don't know. That's a bit much. Like we're not going to. I'm not giving him 14 points. That's. I think
They're
it's
going to
gonna
score
Bert.
more than 14
I
points.
think it
Bert.
could be like
They're gonna
easily
score
like
the 20.
After Chad, I love Bert. I think Bert
Yeah.
is awesome.
Bert was funny.
Bert was great. Bert and Tusk were just two peas in a pod.
Well, it's like if we're gonna be bad, I prefer our coach to be like funny and entertaining. Like
But you
Chad
prefer our
Morris-
coach to be like a literal like Twitter meme?
Yeah,
But we
no,
don't
that's
prefer to be
what it
bad.
was. Like it was
Yeah.
We
funny
don't
to
talk about
watch
Chad
games.
Morris on the podcast.
It
Though.
was funny to watch
Not gonna
games
talk
because Bert would get progressively fat. Like even when we were losing, it's like, oh, that's entertaining because he looks a lot worse than he did 7 days ago. What did he eat?
Again, not fat shaming on the podcast.
We don't fat shame.
I don't condone that.
All right, so we all like Illinois plus 7.5. Illinois to win
100%.
and the under
100%.
of 54.5. Any thoughts on Nebraska before we move on from this game?
Overrated, terrible. They think they're a blue blood in college football. They're not. They're garbage.
They're basically
Like garbage city. Lincoln sucks. Lincoln is a terrible place to be. Pardon my French here. Fuck Nebraska. Lincoln sucks. Terrible. Great stadium though. They do have a great stadium, but it's fucking awful. They're never going to do anything in there again because they have 19 fullbacks and 8 tight ends, and it's the most boring brand of football you'll ever watch. Illinois is going to spank them. Game over. Thank you.
And
down
we'll
to
get to
gas.
this later when we talk about conference realignment at the end. But if
My
you're
only
Nebraska,
worry is that Nebraska kind of finished off decent in the year. Like after losing to Illinois, they lost by 6 to Iowa, by 7 to Minnesota, and they beat Purdue by 10. They beat Rutgers, who was having I think Rutgers had a pretty good upset. They were
Rutgers beat Michigan
last
like
year.
the second week. of the
Rutgers
season.
was shockingly not bad last year.
So I mean, like the little run Nebraska had that's my only concern. But also, like Nebraska's going to start the year off slow. If they're going to do good, it's going to be later on in the year. I think their QB is Tim Tebow in the NFL, but doesn't win games, and even worse at throwing the ball. But like he can run the ball, so it's cool for him.
Isn't their quarterback a McCaffrey kid?
No, he's like the back. I think it's like Martinez, who's like the brother of the good Martinez. Who
Right, that's what I was saying. Because there's I swear to God, there's been a Martinez playing quarterback.
That kid was in
Nebraska for,
college
10
for like
years.
40 years.
Yeah,
That kid was in college for longer than Gabs.
I graduated in 4 years. I'm just a little older than the rest of us. But come on,
I think
give me
Nebraska,
that 4 years to graduate.
because I'm in a good mood, I'm going to say this year Nebraska's not going to win Saturday, but they're going to. I think they're going to go 6-6 and make a bowl game.
Oh,
That is my hot prediction.
Have you seen Nebraska's schedule?
I have not.
You might want to retract
off-
that
just
statement.
Read off their schedule or just
All right.
highlight it.
Week 1, Illinois. It could be a win, could be a loss.
Right.
Week 2, Fordham's a win. Week 3, Buffalo. Big
Week 2?
Mac game.
Who's week 2?
Fordham.
Oh, I think said Florida. Okay, Florida. Okay, continue.
Yeah, that's a win. But week 3, they get Buffalo. That's a good MAC team.
They're going to win.
I don't know if they win that game, though. Buffalo, they were sick last year.
Okay, keep going. They got
you get Oklahoma week 4.
Or 2. Oklahoma week 4, that's a loss.
Yeah, Michigan State on the road week 5.
That's a loss.
Northwestern, who was pretty darn good last year, week 6.
That's a loss.
Michigan week 7.
They're going to upset Michigan.
Fuck Michigan. PJ Fleck in Minnesota week 8. That's a loss.
They're going to beat Minnesota. Minnesota's horrible last year.
No, they're not. PJ Fleck is good. I don't.
Okay, but they were horrible last year.
He's just inspiring.
Until I reserve the right until I look at Nebraska's schedule for me to predict that they're going to go 6.
Then they get Purdue, then Ohio State, Wisconsin, Iowa to finish the year.
Oh, it
might be Purdue. Yeah.
That is a brutal 3-game stretch in the season. Okay,
let's segue into our next game.
The
Rainbow Warriors, I believe.
Going out to the West Coast, going out to Southern California. We have the Mountain West Conference hopping across the Pacific Ocean. We got the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors going to Pasadena, going to the Rose Bowl to play Chip Kelly in his 3rd year and the UCLA Bruins. This game is at 2:30 Central. That is a 12:30 California time kickoff. And this Saturday, the line for that game, UCLA is a home 17.5-point favorite. Over-under is a little bit higher, 68.5. Again, UCLA.
A little higher than that. Almost nice.
Almost nice. Very close, nice. UCLA 17.5-point favorite at home. Over-under 68.5.
I don't think that the Rainbow Warriors can win unless it's 2 a.m. Central.
That is that's
why I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that because I love the Rainbow Warriors. I love the what is it, the Honolulu Bowl? Is that their stadium?
Aloha Bowl.
Aloha
Stadium. They play Aloha Stadium. And the bowl is the Hawaii Bowl. Yeah.
So I love the Rainbow Warriors. I don't love 17.5. I think Chip Kelly is a big fraud. The biggest fraud in college football. I don't think UCLA will be good. I'm very confident they'll be bad. Like the rest of the Pac-12 is just irrelevant. Shout out to your Lions. It's terrible. But 17.5, I got to go UCLA.
Yeah, I mean, 17.5 is just a shitty number.
That's a bad number.
Like a 17 or 16.5 would be like 17.5 to 19. Like I'd rather even have like a 19.5 with better money, like with better odds on it.
Arkansas is a 17.5 over Rice week 1, and I don't even love that. But we'll get to that next week.
I mean, I like it more than that one because what's going to happen is first quarter against Hawaii is going to be like a 14-14 quarter, and then UCLA is going to start taking off. But it's just at that point, like you just need a late touchdown from Hawaii. You know what I mean? To just blow that open.
I like UCLA too, but you have to remember 2019. And they're not a good at all. But Arizona went out to Hawaii week 0 2 years ago, and that's when they had Khalil Tate, I think was his name, as their quarterback. Arizona. He was like a Heisman candidate going.
He's a bigger fraud than Chip Kelly.
It was a competitive game, and if you remember, it was where like Khalil Tate was like running with like to the end zone, no time left, and got tackled like the 1.
Yeah, but Cole McDonald, QB for Hawaii, he was sick. He was absolutely nasty.
Hawaii breeds quarterbacks. I think
that was like Cole
the greatest quarterback of all time.
Cole McDonald. That guy was
Cole Brennan, and
Cole Brennan was like 10 years ago at Hawaii. It was a sick team, though.
Say something nice about the University of Texas. I think Vince Young has a legitimate claim to the best college quarterback of all time. Grew up watching him. I'm making that argument because his scramble for a touchdown against USC in the national championship game with 4.5 seconds left was the greatest single play in college football history. I will make that argument. I will defend Vince Young. He was terrible in the NFL, laughably bad.
Vince Young was a rookie. I mean, yeah, he was good, but he was rookie of the year at least. I give him that.
Yeah, but that's been when all quarterbacks were bad as first years. Like they all had shitty stats, so it wasn't hard to get rookie of the year.
Yeah. Vince Young was laughably bad. Now he's a little fat. I think he's still at UT. Is he still at UT? Is he
So
working for them?
he's affiliated.
I'm like, he's not playing, that's for sure.
He's affiliated with Texas in some way. I know he owns a steakhouse of all things in Austin.
Vince Young is
Yeah,
not
probably.
even close to the best QB of all
Somebody
time.
check Vince Young's
Well,
NIL deal because it was not legal, whatever it was.
Dude, Vince Young is not even close to the best quarterback of all time.
I'm looking at right now. Bleacher Report. They have the top 25 quarterbacks of all time rated. Vince Young came in at number 25.
That'll come next week. That'll come next week on the college football
Vince
preview.
Young wears Kellen Moore pajamas when he goes to bed. That's all I got.
Kellen Moore was awesome. He was so good.
He was even with the Cowboys. At least he was fun whenever those were fun games.
It was fun when they got to that 3-0 start in 2019,
and
they
everyone
absolutely
got hurt.
crapped the bed.
And eventually they put him in, and he had 450 yards against the Jets. They lost. He had 3 picks, but he was sick. He had a noodle arm, but he just sling it. Would not.
Left-handed quarterbacks don't work in the NFL. They just don't. Two is a bust.
Vick.
I mean,
Michael Vick is an anomaly.
game.
He was phenomenal.
Steve Young, left-handed quarterback.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna hold Steve Young as the caliber. When did Steve Young retire? 97. He's in the Hall of Fame, of course. Okay, name another left-handed quarterback since Steve Young.
Yeah, Tim Tebow though.
So but going back to Hawaii UCLA, disappointingly,
we support Tim Tebow on this podcast. Come on, guys.
We do. This is a Tim Tebow podcast.
You guys can. I'm not.
One great
Did you
season.
see that block? That was the worst block I've ever seen.
Yeah. But going back to Hawaii UCLA, like you said, disappointingly, this is not an 11:30 Central kickoff. That'll halftime is at 2 a.m. and it doesn't end till 3:30.
You're down $300 just sweating Hawaii to cover.
You're getting
That's
back.
the best feeling.
What an electric experience that is. That's why I love the Rainbow Warriors. They have a spot in my heart because that is the nut up or get a bank loan with a bad interest rate to feed your family.
But it's you're at the bar and you just got heartbroken by the last main game of the night on ESPN, and then you pull up your phone. You're like, Hawaii plays in 2 hours,
and then you have to sit there. And then you have to sit there and be like, oh, now my stomach hurts. Do I have to take a shit at Grubs or do I have to go home? And then
you get heartbroken by Pac-12 after dark, and you're like, wait a minute, Hawaii's only in the first quarter right now against Nevada or Air Force or someone like that.
And then you live bet the shit throughout the game. They score first, you're like, okay, I'll keep fucking hammering.
You're just betting stupid money on props, just trying to fucking dig out of a hole.
How sick would that be though to be
and then you get deported to Canada.
Yeah, that does happen to some hosts of this podcast, but we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about it.
How sick would that be if you were a high school recruit on the West? I think they only recruit the West Coast pretty much, but
they only recruit Oahu because nobody else wants to fucking.
They have a lot of California. I think they get a number of California kids. So how sick would that be? You get to go to college and play college football.
But they get a lot of
Honolulu
too because they're Mormons.
Hawaii does have a lot of Mormons. People don't know that. They do have a lot of Mormons.
I don't know. If I was a California kid like Colt Brennan, he was a California kid, right?
Yeah. Well, he went to Hawaii after.
I think so. I think he was.
I don't know if he's from California.
I think he was from California.
Well, he went to
his
Boulder.
family moved to California.
Yeah, he's from Laguna Beach, California. He went to Boulder, and then
that's right.
There was certain allegations that we don't talk about on the podcast because we don't get into that stuff. But there were allegations, and then he had to transfer to Saddleback College. That's cool.
We love a JUCO kid.
Yeah.
This podcast is pro JUCO.
And then the Hawaii became statistically one of the best college quarterbacks of all time.
That was awesome.
2007.
He was incredible.
He
Much
was
watched
the
television.
Sidearm thrower ever.
Greatest haircut in college football history, I would say too.
Game in NFL history is
the dyed blonde hair
with the Hawaiian
Islands.
Yeah,
incredible.
Well, what do you guys like? I guess we all like UCLA minus the points.
UCLA 17. Yeah. I don't like Hawaii anytime that I'm not blackout drunk. And if I'm blackout drunk at 2:30 on Saturday, then I need to go seek help.
Don't pick Hawaii out on the islands.
I'm gonna go a little I'm gonna get deep in there. Sorry about that. And I'm gonna go a first half.
Congrats on getting
deep. Yeah, I know. Thank you. A first half Hawaii point total. I just know it's gonna hit. It's probably gonna be around 10.5 or maybe it's 14, but they're gonna score in the first half, and then they're just gonna third quarter is gonna be a dead zone for them, and that's when UCLA is gonna take off. So I think that's a good bet. Or first half over. I don't really like the whole game over, but first half stuff, it's gonna be scoring in the first half. And I'm not touching the 17 points. 17
I'm not touching 17. No way.
I mean, I probably will.
I'll take UCLA minus points. I will, because they're playing at home. And if it means anything to you,
playing at home in California doesn't mean shit.
They're playing against Hawaii though. That's like they're flying across an ocean
during the day.
Yeah,
Hawaii during the day is a problem. But still, also, UCLA doesn't get to claim the Rose Bowl. Anybody that says UCLA has a home field advantage at any point is out of their fucking mind. There's no chance.
I mean, they do.
If Arkansas played UCLA in the Rose Bowl, I promise you there would be more Arkansas fans.
Oh, that's that's every fan base.
Okay, yeah, then we don't get to claim, except for Hawaii. It's every fan base except for Hawaii.
Right. Well, I mean, UCLA is a basketball school anyway. Basketball and baseball, but
UCLA is a basketball school. I think the thing about Hawaii is
I got in a Twitter fight with a UCLA band kid during a college baseball season. I will never forget it. Fucking trombone kid was saying that their fucking exotic dancing national championships were better than anything Arkansas had done, and I about snapped.
UCLA does have like most national championships of any school.
That's fine. Who cares?
But
we run the SEC.
If it means anything to you guys, this is UCLA's. They just switched the Jordan brand from Under Armour. So
I hate the Jordan brand jerseys. I think they're so ugly.
It's the same as
Nike. Disagree. I think they're sick.
Nike.
Disagree. If Arkansas switched to Jordan, do you know how fast I would buy a KJ Jordan jersey?
No.
Very fast.
I look at Florida I just don't like to look at the Florida players with their fucking Jordan brand.
I've never been to the Swamp, but I want to go. I think the Swamp would probably be
basically like it's a Nike jersey just with the Jordan logo slapped on instead of swoosh.
I don't know. I don't like it. Like maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just
old. Are you for the pod?
I'm just an old dude, I just like classic shit. Sorry, guys.
Okay, so moving on from, I guess we all like UCLA. I like
UCLA. Love UCLA.
Love UCLA. Don't know about that over under.
I'll circle back to the Rainbow Warriors in a couple of weeks when I'm down $1,000.
So Scope Bruins in that game. We only got 3 other Week 0 games. I'm just going to run through them real quick. We have the UConn Huskies playing the Fresno State Bulldogs.
Fresno. Don't play. Oh, dead mascot game. Dead mascot game.
Is it?
We have to remember a dead mascot game.
That's
absolutely. That Husky died.
Fresno State is a 27.5 point home favorite against UConn. So are you hammering UConn plus the points?
Favorite against UConn?
Well, Fresno's got.
Have you heard of UConn football?
It's
a horrible program.
Hold.
Our program is like this close to not existing.
I agree with that, but I also agree with a dead Husky that there's no chance that a Bulldog is going to cover 27.5 against that dead Husky. And it's not like a yesterday.
It's dog versus dog.
Hold on. It's not like a yesterday the dog died. It was a couple months ago. So if it was 17, I'd be having trouble in my brain. But it's not. It's 27.5. And I don't believe that any person in their soul would desecrate a dead animal. So for that reason, hammer UConn.
They're not going to win, but I'll hammer.
Yeah, they are. No, they're going to win.
I don't think they're going to win.
They're flying across country.
I don't think they're going to win.
They're going across country for a day game.
What a disaster
I guarantee
that program is. So you're playing Fresno State on the road week 1.
UConn 10 years ago, I think UConn was like the Fiesta Bowl.
UConn was ranked.
UConn did have the death penalty last year. They didn't play. Well, they didn't really get it, but
they gave themselves the death penalty.
Yeah, they did. They gave themselves the death penalty because of COVID.
Yeah, well, I mean,
we also got.
We don't talk about that on the podcast.
We don't talk about COVID.
We also have the battle of West Texas versus East New Mexico. The Texas El Paso Miners, the UTEP Miners at the New Mexico State Aggies. UTEP is a 10-point road favorite.
That's
hammer UTEP.
It's the battle of I-10. So I'm gonna go.
Battle of I-10. What a shitty rivalry.
What
a fucking terrible rivalry.
They're both off I-10. And one campus.
Good for you for knowing your highways, by the way. What an obscure highway to know.
I've driven through. I've been there before.
Big highway guy. All right. Host Atlas.
Also, UTEP is literally right across the border from Juarez. a fun fact. Their
That
campus
is. People, yeah.
People forget
I remember that. People do forget.
El Paso, very dangerous place to be. They also have 5 wins in the last 4 years, but
Who, Utah?
They have a bunch of McKinney kids, so I got to go. I got to go home cooking.
5 wins in the last 4 years.
I got to go home cooking on that. Don't fucking desecrate McKinney football.
Last game
we just won a Super Bowl. This city just won a Super Bowl. People need to understand.
Late. We have one school I had no idea existed until I made the run sheet. The Southern Utah Thunderbirds at the San Jose State Spartans. San Jose State is a 24-point favorite.
San Jose State.
killer.
Oh, wait a minute, Starkle. I'm not
Is
sure.
Starkle even there?
Yeah, he is. I'm not
Oh,
sure about
God.
San Jose
My
State.
God,
Starkle.
yeah, he's back for
Starkle.
17th year.
Starkle, you
Yeah.
fuck. We will never forget what you did at this university. You were awful.
He lost to
Terrible.
San Jose State.
We
He
lost.
was better
to San
than
Jose
he was
State.
better than Big
Ben
Six
Hicks?
Hicks. Yeah, he was better. Than
But
Ben
Jack
Hicks.
Lindsay was the best quarterback in program history, and I will die on that hill.
What was that
LSU
big fucker's
single-handed.
name that got the 8 a.m. DUI and then left?
Cole Kelly.
Yeah,
Cole Kelly was dope. I like
was
Cole
at-
Kelly.
I was
He
at
was
Big,
really average, but he was big.
I was at Big Row. It was the year Row. It was like 40 degrees and freezing. I was like steps away from I saw Cole Kelly get thrown out of that Big Row. I even remember who was playing.
And then he got behind the wheel and got a DUI.
Yeah.
in another game.
Yeah, and he transferred to Southeastern Louisiana or something. San Jose State is a home. They are a 24-point home favorite. So if you want to put money on that,
I don't trust Starkle.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Starkle does weird things.
he was
Starkle
really good
transferred-
last year. No,
Starkle transferred to Arkansas.
yeah.
for a
Didn't
girl.
they win They won the Mountain West last year?
Yeah,
He
they were
transferred to
really
Arkansas.
undefeated too, right?
They were
Starkle
really
transferred
good.
to Arkansas for a FIMU.
what?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
your tea for the day.
I'll take.
And didn't work.
Um,
She might have been a Kappa. If it was a Kappa, it was worth it. But
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, but he was really good last year. I mean,
Starkle was?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
won
he
the
was
Mountain
really good.
West last year. I remember that.
Oh,
best
fuck.
QB in the well,
Maybe we
after
hammered
the
that.
Boise State QB probably, but no, he was good last year. He won me some money last year. That's for goddamn sure. And he started the season off 7-0 for them last year. So,
I don't trust Starkle. I'm not sure. What's the line?
but he
27?
did not. Wait. Let me see. I'm pulling up the stats right now.
Because I know
Um,
nothing about Southern Utah, I'm staying away from that.
Yeah, I don't know what even Southern Utah is. It
Well,
could be
they're
Joseph
FCS.
Smith.
It's
and
a school.
Pats.
It's a school in the southern part of Utah. That's all I know.
Wait, what are we taking there?
Life's too short to bet the under, so I guess you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
this
go
is-
over there. I'm
I'm
not
not
gonna.
gonna
I'm not
lie.
gonna touch the spread,
Wait,
but I'll go over.
What do you have for the spread?
I found 56.5 on ESPN.
No, the spread.
Oh, San Jose State 24-point favorite.
Yeah, okay. I have mine on my book at 24.5. But the first half, the first half looks kind of nice for me, honestly. That might be what I'm looking at. We're at 13.5 in the first half. I kind of like San Jose State touchdown in the first half.
I like that first half. You said 13.5.
Yeah, or 24.5 points in that's their over under for the first half.
I take that first half bet probably. Other than that, I'm staying away from this game. I could care less.
Yeah, I mean it's just action.
The only reason I care about this game is because this is the game. I think it's like a 10 o'clock Central kick. So this is going to
Yeah,
be
I
something
mean,
that'll
that's
be
on
fun
at
to
like
watch.
every bar. Yeah,
That'll be fun to
If you
watch.
lose every other game before, it's a good slum buster.
exactly.
Hey, you want to talk to us about that?
Don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Moving
All
on.
right, so that does it for the week 0 slate. 5 games. Of course, the real action kicks off next weekend, all of Labor Day weekend. But we're going to end episode 1. That we will be back next week
Yeah,
to
Mike,
recap week 0, preview week 1 of a huge college football slate.
Not just week
off.
1. We're going to give our entire predictions. Football playoff.
We're gonna give
all
every
the Power
prediction.
5 conference champs. Go ahead.
We're going to give every prediction for every Power 5 school. That's what we're going to do here on this podcast, just for you, just for the listener. We're going to
Ladies
go
and gentlemen,
school by school. It doesn't matter how long it will take us.
it's
Every
gonna be
FBS
6
school.
hours, and you're going to
Yeah,
love every
so
second
get
of it,
ready.
you fucking listener.
I mean, other than Nebraska, because they don't count as a
Nebraska doesn't count as out of school.
Just
Ladies and gentlemen, Thank
We'll
you
do the
for
ones that
joining us.
matter. Yeah.
The ones that matter, yeah. Fuck.
The ones that starting with Arkansas, but yeah,
Uh,
the
Yeah, the
FBS schools
SEC
that matter.
schools,
We're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
spend
it.
at least 2.5 hours on the Mac. My little heroine of a conference. I'm
I'm ready
addicted
for
to the
I'm
Mac.
ready for some.
I'm
action.
ready
I'm
for
ready
some
for
action.
some
I wish there was
Tuesday
a game on
Wednesday
Goddamn.
action.
There's nothing better than some Tuesday action.
And I'm
ladies
not-
When
and
they
gentlemen,
play, hold on, when they play on a Tuesday, is that like the week where they play the Saturday before?
No,
Or
they
what-
like
No, they
this
only play on
conference,
weekdays
They only
now.
play like Tuesdays,
or
Wednesdays,
Thursdays.
like Tuesday, Wednesday, or like Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
They developed it as their
News
brand,
to
which I love.
I mean,
And
yeah,
on
they
top
get
of that,
eyeballs, they get
The
ratings,
first
they get
like
ratings. I guess.
5-6 weeks of the season, it's all overs. It's all
It
fucking
is all over.
awesome. And the
Like the,
kickers suck. It's awesome.
I just vividly
Respectfully, I
remember
love kickers,
the
though. I love
the
kickers.
Toledo Western Michigan game last year.
Wait,
Nightmare.
yeah, Western
Michigan
Nightmare.
Toledo.
Western Michigan against Toledo. It was
Nightmare.
awesome. Was it last year or the year before?
It was
I
last year.
lost multiple units on that game.
I know. I had an alternate over. I kept hammering overs on that game. Like midway through the game, I had already like hit it by halftime almost, and I just kept hammering on them, and they just kept scoring. It was awesome. I don't have a problem though.
No, nobody has a problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Except during
Dear-
MLB season, that's a problem.
I'll wrap us up here, dear listener. Thank you so much for joining us on what's going to be quite the roller coaster. Thank you for joining us in college football season. Remember, week 0 is the best week of the year. We're going to have our predictions for the entire season next week. And last but not least, whatever you hear for the rest of the day, there's only one thing that matters. Let's go Hogs. Sam Pittman's taking us to the playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, the Academic Redshirts are out.
Audio.
See you guys.